Hi, come join. I'm so excited. We're going to talk about changing our relationship to stress. So, why? Well, I think it's important, but I want to share with you that on LinkedIn, I ran a poll to see what people were most concerned about, which health behavior. I asked, are you worried about changing your eating, your exercise, your stress, or work life balance? And the winner was, as you're probably guessing, stress. Stress was so many more people were concerned with stress versus the other three. So out of 62 people, 33 said stress was the biggest concern. So I wanted to talk about it today. Why? Because chronic stress raises your blood pressure, raises your blood sugar, it lowers your immune system, it affects your digestion, it increases pain, it just affects everything, even your digestion. So I think if we can change our relationship to stress, I know that we can do better. Today I'm going to talk to you about awareness of stress, understanding that there are two different kinds and which one to be on the lookout for. And then we're going to get into talking about tools. But I need you to pinky promise me something. Are you ready? Promise me moving forward, you will do your best to be kind in regards to changing this health behavior. Stress is very, very common. It's very addictive. So when you're working on changing this habit, I want to ask you to be kind, because research actually shows that the more supportive and empowering we are with ourselves or with the support systems we seek, the more likely we are to change. So if you're listening, let me know in the comments that you promise to be kind to yourself. All right, so awareness. The first step in changing your relationship to stress is actually realizing when it's happening. So getting to the point where you understand when you're stressed and what's triggering it. So this requires a curiosity mindset, being on the lookout for when are your shoulders coming up to your ears, when are you shallow breathing, those are signs that you're stressed, or feeling your heart racing, or a constriction. Some people feel a constriction in their throat or a headache. Becoming aware is the first step, and then starting to notice what triggered it. Is it your responsibilities? Does it have to do with your children? Does it have to do with money? Is it your spouse? Is it your colleagues? Becoming aware is really, really important. Now, moving into understanding, there are two kinds of stress. There is real stress, which is not very common. So real stress is like we're being chased by a lion, we're in a car accident, someone is threatening our life. Those are actually real reasons to be stressed. And it's actually very helpful to go through that, because when we experience a real stress, our body focuses on fine-tuning our sight, our hearing, our ability to escape. Blood rushes to our muscles so we can run. And if you recall a time you've had real stress, remember that afterwards you actually shook. Have you ever been in a car accident and afterwards you had shaking or some big event? Our body is so intelligent. It knows that after that download of hormones, that as a result of stress, we need to have a release, a physical release. So now let's get to the second type of stress. And then I'm going to circle back to that physical release. Second type of stress is perceived stress. Perceived, not real. This is our everyday stressors. You know, we're watching the news, we get stressed. We see a billboard, we get stressed. We're driving, we don't like the way the person in front of us is driving, we get stressed. We remember something in the past that caused us angst and we get stressed. We think about the future, we get stressed. And here we are producing those same strong chemicals that we do in real stress, but the difference is that we are not having a release. And exposing our body to that constant stress without having a physical release is very harmful. So it's really good that you understand that, because if you want to change your relationship to stress, it's really important that you start understanding there's two kinds, and the unhelpful kind is the one we want to address. So here are some tools. Let's get into the tools. First and foremost, putting on your curiosity hat when you notice you're stressed and starting to bring some logical questions to the table, like, is this real? Is this real? And 99.9% of the time it's like, no. So that's good to know. If something's not real, it takes away some of the power. Whatever you can do to get yourself back into the present moment. Because remember, perceived stress is occurring either in the future or it already happened in the past. There really isn't stress in the present moment unless it's a real stressor, like unless your life's in danger or something really bad is happening. But other than that, it's perceived stress. And we can't have stress, perceived stress in the moment. So that's the first tool, is orient yourself and begin to ask yourself, is this real? And bring yourself to the present moment. This takes practice. It's not easy, but you can do it. Now, how do you get yourself into the present moment? So the next tool I want to share with you, breathing is often one of the most helpful ways to get yourself into the present moment. And I want to share with you a breathing technique that's going to do two things. One, it'll help you get in the present moment. And two, it'll help you release some of that built up CO2. Because when we're constant stress, we're shallow breathing, we're breathing like to here, and we're not exhaling properly. So we're like building up CO2, which doesn't feel good, doesn't help us think clearly. So let's do a breathing technique so we can get into the present moment, because perceived stress cannot exist in the present moment, and help us to release some of that built up CO2. Very simple. We're going to inhale and exhale double the amount. So one helpful, you could do inhaling into the count of 3, inhaling in, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to exhale to the count of 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling into the count of 3, 2, 1. Exhaling to the count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I really love that breathing technique, and you can do it differently. If 3 and 6 is too much for an exhale, you could do 2 and 4. Or if you have a greater lung capacity, you could do inhale to the 4, exhale to the 8. Doesn't matter. What matters is that the exhale is twice as long as the inhale. And again, what that does is, because you're having to count and think, it helps get you into that present moment, helps you to release some of that built up CO2, and usually very helpful. But again, even though the technique is easy, what makes it difficult is remembering to do it and practicing. It's like going to the gym. You cannot expect to have gorgeous, strong muscles. I don't have them yet. if I only go to the gym once. So you have to practice this. The other technique that I find really fun and works like that is laughter. Laughter helps you to release some of that physical tension that that builds up over time, and it's very therapeutic. And the good news is research shows that fake laughter is just as good as real laughter. So whatever you can do to, when you notice you're feeling stressed, just have a laugh. If you could do that even 15 seconds, 15 to 30 seconds, that is very, very helpful. Laughter is free. And remember, fake laughter just as beneficial as real laughter. I hope you do it. And one of the good things I think about laughter is it's something you can practice even when you're not stressed, and can release some of that tension that you may have been holding onto for, stress you may have had earlier in the day. All right, let's recap. So why is this critical? Stress contributes to all forms of illness. Oh, thank you, Mai. How are you? So stress contributes to all forms of illness. And we now know that 65% of what is seen in the clinic is all preventable. And stress is a big part. And you all voted that you wanted to change your relationships to stress. So remember, awareness is key. So be on the lookout for when you feel stressed and start to notice, what are your triggers? Everyone's a little different. Remember, understanding there are two types. There's the real stress that's actually useful, like when you're about to be chased or you're in danger. And then there's the rest of stress that we're so addicted to, perceived stress. And you know it's perceived stress because it's not real. It's something we're thinking in our mind, and usually it has to do with the future or the past, which leads us to our tools. One of the most helpful tools is to bring your logical, curious mind and ask yourself, is this real? And usually it's a big no. And also just getting yourself back to the present moment. Perceived stress cannot exist in the present moment. It relies on worries about the future and thoughts of the past. So one of the techniques that can help you do that is breathing. I recommend, there's so many breathing techniques. Find the one you like. The one I recommended is inhaling in and exhaling double the amount of time. So for example, you can inhale to the count of 3, exhale to the count of 6. If you do that for 30 seconds to a minute, it can be very therapeutic and help you release some of that stress and get you back to the present moment. And the last technique I shared was laughter. Fake laughter, just as beneficial as real laughter. It helps you to release some of that tension. And laughter has been connected to lowering blood pressure, lowering your heart rate if it's high, boosting your immune system, improving your overall well-being, and it's free and quick. So laugh for your health. All right, I'm rooting for your success 1000%. Please let me know if this was helpful, and let me know one small thing, one small itty bitty thing you're going to do to change your relationship to stress. Have a great day. If this was helpful, please like and share. Thank you.